Bama's closing in on their first football game of the year and the first under the DeBoer regime as Alabama's head coach. We're going to talk about practice as they get closer and closer, and the Bandit position. It's one of those spots that should be a strength for Alabama, but we're going to talk about who's starting and then who's going to be backing up and the depth that they have in that position. Then Nick Saban, he's been everywhere, and he's made some very interesting comments with Big Sexy Elmo. I'm Mick Gillespie. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate Show. Like and subscribe. The band is back together. Roll Tide. All right, what do you say, gang? Welcome to the Bama Tailgate Show, Bama Tailgate Daily. We're closer and closer to the first Bama Tailgate Show, which will be previewing Alabama and Western Kentucky. Roll Tide, friend.
Roll Tide. It is officially game week.
It is officially game week, man. We are going to be in Tuscaloosa to do the show on Friday. I've been debating whether we do it and then release it on Saturday, or do we just do it and let you guys watch it here and then we'll put it out on radio on Saturday. What do you think, Brett?
You're the brains behind this.
Okay, well, look, let's talk positioning, okay? The Bandit position is new to Alabama. It's a position that they really didn't have last year, but it's basically the strong side defensive end, right? And it's been a pretty interesting battle. We've talked a lot about LT Overton and what he brings from Texas A&M, getting after the quarterback, big and strong, but he's still very athletic. Had 3 sacks in the first scrimmage. But it looks like, and I feel like Jah-Marien Latham's going to be the guy that starts, and then Overton would be the backup, and that could flip. I mean, but one of those two guys, I feel like they're both going to play a lot. I don't think it's going to be one of those positions that we don't see, those guys getting in there and playing. Keon Keeley's another guy to keep an eye on in that spot. Jordan Renaud is another guy. But I'd say those 4 guys in that Bandit position are going to give Alabama a lot of strength.
Yeah, and I think they mentioned that, the coaching staff, after the second scrimmage, that is a position that there may not be a clear starter this week. I mean, they're just really neck and neck, but you have your thoughts on that. But it's a position where it's going to rotate in and out, and both guys are capable of doing the job. That's the good part that we've talked about before, because you never know with the injury situation. I saw a guy last night watching the North Alabama game on ESPN. One of their linemen get rolled up, and, man, there he was getting carted off. So you never know. And it's great to have some depth. That's the positive part of it.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And Nick Saban, we're going to talk about Nick Saban as Alabama turns their focus to Western Kentucky. All right, just before we talk about Nick Saban on ESPN and some of the stuff that he had to say yesterday, what are you feeling right now? What are you feeling right now about this, this program and kind of where we are going into this first game?
I feel pretty good. Talking to a lot of Alabama fans, they feel good. Everybody's still confident. It's nothing has changed, really. The head coach or the coaching staff has changed, but the mentality stays the same. It's, we've got a good enough football team to be very competitive. I think the days of going undefeated are pretty much, for any team, are pretty much over. The way things are, I mean, especially in the SEC, man, it's just so stacked. And when you add Texas and Oklahoma into it, and, man, this is a brutal schedule for across the board for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Florida State lost.
Yeah,
to Georgia Tech. It was the first Elmo lock of the century. He said take Florida State in the 10, and
you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Texas A&M. Georgia Tech won the football game, but it's not the end of the road for Florida State anymore. You know, I mean, it just doesn't. They have a lot of opportunities to still get in the playoffs. They're just going to have to figure it out. A lot of former Alabama players are on that team.
Yeah,
but,
you think they're regretting their decision right now?
No, I would be. I mean, I would have stuck around, but who knows how much NIL money they got and playing time and all that stuff. So the game's coming up 6:00, Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And, I've told you this privately and told you guys this a little bit, but there's a lot of work that goes into the radio show that we do that this whole channel's named after, the Bama Tailgate Show. We have some new members coming. We're going to make an announcement this week. A new station that you can hear the show on in the mornings on Saturday when you're driving to Tuscaloosa. We're all across the state with great affiliates. We got a guy that threw some touchdown passes in some meaningful games and has a bunch of rings to tell you about. And we got another guy who's very big and sexy and knows a lot about radio that's going to be on there as well. But I don't want to mention any names.
I didn't throw many touchdown passes, and I don't have any rings. I think you got the information kind of.
It's two different people. It's two different people.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll get into
that
only,
later. But only one of them's a big, sexy guy. All right. Yesterday, Nick Saban makes his official debut on Game Day on ESPN. Did you have a chance to watch from Ireland, and what did you think about Saban's first game day?
Man, I think Saban's got a lot of knowledge. He doesn't look comfortable, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the stuff that he says is like gold, right? So this is he's got to get a lot better. And if I was coaching him up, first off, I'd say this, and I'm going to give him some advice. Next time you go to a bar with Pat McAfee, bring me so I can kind of just help you get loose. We'll talk about we'll relax a little bit. Let's have some fun. It's okay to smile. It's okay to laugh. It's okay not to be serious all the time. You're not coaching anymore. The second thing is that you were hard to deal with when you were the head coach of football teams, especially at Alabama. You love to yell at the media all the time. And if people asked a dumb question, you were really on them about it, and now you know how hard this is. It's pretty funny. You just make a lot more than we do doing it. So, with that said, love the guy. I'm gonna give him a hard time because you know what? He's in the media now. He's in our world, but he makes the show better. Bottom line is this: Nick Saban makes the show better. He's going to get better and better at the craft of being on air. But right now, the information's really good. He's smart and all that, but he just doesn't look very comfortable. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he made some really good points, some really good comments. I thought he had a chance to. He talked about this. A few points I'll make on this. He had a chance to talk about watching Alabama's second scrimmage, and one of the things he said about that, he said the team, and we mentioned this at the start of the show, has the same culture they had when he was the coach. He said they play with toughness, play with great effort, execute well, got good discipline. He really praised Coach DeBoer, said he's doing a really good job. He talked about a lot about what we talk about, the players transferring out and having to replace them. And he thinks that Alabama with Jalen Milroe and the two running backs, he said he was worried a little bit about the defense. But he thought the defense was, they really impressed him during the scrimmage and that they've come a long way. And he says that if they can play that kind of defense, especially in the secondary, because we lost so many players there, they're going to be right up there challenging people. And I was encouraged by that, because he had a chance, to sit there and watch that second scrimmage.
Well, that's a good sign. I mean, he's going to be honest about it, right? Well,
yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, like he needs to stick by. If he thinks that it's going to be Texas and Georgia, don't tell me it's reverse rat poison. Just say, look, I just think that they're going to be better now that Texas has lost two running backs. I think you and I know it's going to be Ole Miss and Alabama, but whatever.
Yeah, you're predicting Ole Miss Alabama for the title.
Yeah.
And you're right about Texas. A lot of people, you know, we talk about Texas and everything, but folks are forgetting that they've lost their top 2 running backs.
They have.
That's brutal.
Yep. They got some talent, but everybody's got talent. They're going to go through a schedule like they haven't gone through. And Texas and Oklahoma, I mean, they juiced up those schedules because, you know, obviously that's their first year in the conference. You know, like Tennessee's not playing a schedule like Texas, you know. Bama, Georgia, Texas, and Oklahoma, to me, are playing a monster schedule. Same thing with Florida. I'll throw them in there, too. But it feels like, you know, maybe because they're new to the scene, you know, you want to get all these marquee matchups, and they certainly do that. But, yeah, I'm glad that Saban said that. And, you know, I guess we could probably get into this a lot more tomorrow if you want to, but he also was talking about coaches when he retired or, you know, whatever, camping out. One of those guys was Lane Kiffin, you know, who like made a big scene about him coming to Tuscaloosa to try to poach players from Alabama, which honestly bothered me. I mean, here's a guy who was left for dead. Nick Saban rescued him. If you knew all the stuff that happened behind the scenes with this guy when he was coaching at Alabama, if for those of you that thought it'd be a good idea to hire him, you'd change your mind. And, you know, who knows, maybe somewhere, sometime soon, somebody will write about it. Maybe somebody will tell you about it. Maybe there's a new website that's going to talk about that sometime soon. But it's crazy just to see, like, hey, Ole Miss is in town. Lane Kiffin's, you know, sending pictures out. He's in Tuscaloosa looking to buy somebody. Ohio State and Georgia's trying to hire your coaches and convince your whole secondary to leave. And they think that they're going to follow this coach over there. And that's the way of the Wild West, man. I mean, there's no rules, right? So it's not like they did anything wrong. I mean, maybe it's unethical, but the bottom line is that it happened. And I think he was just talking about the Miami, Ohio coach calling, you know, Alabama and Kalen DeBoer pretty much cheaters for taking their guy. And I'm going to say this to you, Big Sexy. That coach at Miami, Ohio would have his bags packed so damn fast if Alabama offered him a job, he'd leave the entire program behind and all those players. That's the bottom line. And if that's anything that you get from this show, Nick Saban style telling you this, that guy needs to just step back and go, hey, you know, what would I have done in that same situation? You say you're going to stay there. If Alabama offered you a coaching job, brother, you'd be in Tuscaloosa so fast. Come on.
Very fast. And look, it's your kicker. If you're that worried about it, my God, you've got bigger problems. But hey, that's what he was talking about. You know, he said, you know, if you want to talk about you know, poaching players and tampering and everything else, guess what? You might should have started in Tuscaloosa the day he announced his retirement, because everybody was there trying to get our players. Yeah, and that's where they should have really looked at if they wanted to look into anything.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. And finally, he predicted his playoff field. Now let's take a look. There it is. Boom. He's got the top 4. Interesting. Georgia, Ohio State. That Florida State thing's not looking too swell right now. They of course they can make a
They're not going to be a 3 seed.
No, But Utah at 4th. Like that. He does have Alabama in there. He has Texas. He has Ole Miss. He has LSU in there. Very intriguing. What do you think about these matchups? Liberty versus Texas, Penn State versus Ole Miss, LSU having to go to Oregon, Notre Dame coming to Tuscaloosa. That would be so cool.
Yeah. I was, I wasn't a big fan of the playoff. I like the bowl system. And Mike Leach gave this speech, and he's like, hey, you know, why is it that college football is the only place that doesn't have a tournament, you know? And he really changed my mind on it, because I was like, you know, he's right. I mean, the NFL has a tournament, and high school football has a tournament, and Pee-wee football has a tournament. And I always felt like what made college football different than the NFL is that the regular season was kind of part of the tournament. You know, I mean, like you lost a game. Say Florida State would have lost this game last year, they'd been out already, you know?
Yeah.
But when I saw this, and I see other people's brackets, it's just exciting to think about these matchups. I mean, Ole Miss and Penn State just played in the Peach Bowl recently. Liberty and Texas. I mean, that'd be a weird matchup, but Liberty's probably going to win all their games, right? Right. LSU and Oregon would be fun. Bama and Notre Dame. I mean, that's about as classic of a rivalry as you can have. And then Alabama and Ohio State. I'd love to see Alabama beat Ohio State after they spent $30 million trying to poach players from all over the country, right? But I know Nick Saban thinks that Georgia's going to win. Part of it is that it was, Kirby's his guy. We know that. I think the other thing is that he feels like they're a pretty complete team. But I just don't, man. I think Georgia's going to be right where they were. I think it's going to be worse for them this year. I think they're going to lose a couple games. I think they have a chance to win the national championship, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. Like, hey, we're just going to run in as the 1 seed and run the table. I could see them being a team that, look, they don't have Brock Bowers anymore. Did they still have McConkey? I mean, they don't. It's a different team this year. And I think they'll be good at defense. I think they'll be a really solid crew, but I think Ohio State's the one. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but I mean, they're going to play the weaker schedule and they're in the weaker conference, but they also have talent everywhere. I mean, they went out and bought the best players in the SEC to come there. They got the running back from Ole Miss that had records that were like along the same line as Herschel Walker. They got Bama's best player and Caleb Downs and, and then they did that in other areas. They're going to be a stacked team. It's going to be really hard to beat them. I think they'll be the 1 seed, and then we'll see how it all falls into place. But people better stop underestimating Alabama. They better stop it because Alabama could easily be the number 1 seed going into this tournament.
We haven't even played one game yet, Mick. It's a long season, but I'm ready for it. It's game week, baby. Here we go.
Yeah. All right, guys, find us on Facebook. We want you to be a part of our Facebook page, Bama Tailgate Show on Facebook. Make sure that you check that out. We're brought to you by New Life Art. Bama Tailgate is our promo code, and right now you get 19% off at New Life Art when you use that promo code as we make the rush for number 19. And we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. And I told Brett this before we went on the air today. Next time we hang out with Steve Azar and we drink those Me Till Monday Bloody Marys, he's going to be there with us. He's going to be there, and he's not a Bloody Mary guy, but he loves country music. So it was pretty fun. But find out for yourself over at Pearl River, Silver Star, and Golden Moon Casino. You got the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. And if you put $50 down in the Sportsbook, you can go play Dancing Rabbit. I stayed there last time. It's a wonderful place for just $40. So you got a bachelor party coming up, a birthday. You just want to get away. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham, but it's close from anywhere. And it's worth the drive. You don't have to go all the way out to Vegas to get that Vegas experience. And you got the water park and the spa, and then you got some great concerts coming up. Scotty McCreery's coming up, Gary Allen. You got Rodney Carrington at the end of the month, the comedian, and more. Pearl River Resort. All right, when we come back, we're going to have Brett take over the show. That's a scary thing, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it for you guys.
To Pearl River Resort. They call him Big Sexy, coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Sexy, throwing out those Alabama thoughts, sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. Licking to the XPs, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
25th day of the month. It is game week, ladies and gentlemen, and let's take a look. First of all, I want to say a shout out Yeah, I run into people all the time who watch the show. It's crazy. It's really weird and a lot of fun. Look at my boy Ken. Ken, my man.
What's up, Ken? What's up, Ken?
Oh, God, my friend. He is pumped up. He just had a birthday. He was celebrating his birthday and enjoyed talking to Ken. He loves the show and appreciates you.
Who's his favorite character on the show?
You. He really likes you.
You're lying. You're lying.
He does it. He does it. He normally turns it off right about now. No, he loves the show, and we enjoy all of the viewers that tune in. Celebrity birthdays today.
What's up, Ken? What's up? Thanks, man. Thanks. Look, man, not to interrupt, Brett. Thank you, all you guys, Ken and the rest of you guys, for hanging out with us on here. Please share with your friends. Yes. Let them know that there's a couple of crazy Bama fans that get on here and do a show every day. For you guys. Right. It's for you guys.
Right. Bassist Gene Simmons of Kiss is 75 today.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, I guess everybody knows him for Kiss, and he plays good music and all that stuff, but it's his long tongue that everybody knows him about. He's got like an abnormally like it comes down to here type tongue.
Yeah, it's weird. And you're right. I mean, you and a lot of the women fans go crazy over it. I don't understand why.
Hey, I've never lied. I was talking to LT, who's our friend from the next round. He said Kiss was his first concert. Yeah. Like, their music doesn't do it for me. I think it
doesn't do it for me either. My brother's first concert, I think, was Kiss.
But maybe they're the same one. I just don't think they're any good.
I don't like them either.
Is it what? I mean, is there a song that they sing that you're like, man, this is a good song? And I've heard people, and look, people know I'm a Deadhead, and so they'll be like, I don't really get the Dead, and you kind of win it and you get it now, but you might not have got it before. Maybe we just don't get it yet. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't clicked.
That's right. That's right. It's just not music you smoke a lot of pot to. I guess I don't know.
Or eat mushrooms.
What about the pilot that ate mushrooms and he's like in all this trouble for like Alaskan Airlines? He like abandoned the plane or something crazy.
Yeah, look, I'm all about recreational fun, but not when you're like doing anything important. Like if you're sitting at a concert and you want to watch like, a light show and some lasers or something like that.
We're learning all about Nick here on Game Week. Come on, spill the beans, pal. Just like a counseling session every week.
But when you are doing a job like that, look, if you want to do that and come here and talk about sports or something, that's fine. But when you're like operating a plane, you could kill a bunch of people. Right. Yeah, probably do not do that. Do not do that. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. Don't take pills. Don't just, get your rest because your responsibility is to the people, man. Like the people that entrust their lives in you to go somewhere. I used to hate flying. Now I enjoy it. But I would hate to know that. It would make me uncomfortable getting on a plane again.
You think so, Nick?
Yeah, I do. I do think so.
If the pilot was tripping on mushrooms, no big deal.
His eyes would be real big, and he'd be like this.
Y'all ready to fly? I'm already flying. Sir, we're on the ground. Director Tim Burton is 66.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of good stuff. It's all kind of weird, but it's good.
Yep.
There's like cartoon things, and he did Beetlejuice, which is great. Which Beetlejuice do you like better? The Beetlejuice that was in the movie, the white face and the black and white suit, Michael Keaton, or the Beetlejuice from Howard Stern show?
Oh, Howard Stern show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you'd say that. Beat. He's like a little guy that it comes on there and they,
just look him up.
Yeah.
One of your favorite guys, one of your favorite artists of all time, a guy that you met, hung out with, probably drank a cold beer with. I don't know. No, Billy Ray Cyrus is 63 today.
I did meet Billy Ray back in the mullet day at our buddy Bull Corey's place in Oakman. But the truth is that Billy didn't seem like he was very happy to be there. Like he wasn't smiling a lot. Like he gave us a very stoic Billy Ray Cyrus, performing there then. But I got to see him perform "Achy Breaky Heart" in person. I mean, how cool is that? And you know, he's and then his daughter's like super famous, even more famous than him.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think her name is Miley.
His album, that album that he did, had a lot of good songs on it. And I know we only talk about, but one of them's called "Some Gave All." It's a really good song. I think he's a good performer. I think he doesn't get credit enough. And then he did a video with my favorite female, Dolly Parton, and that was a good. Remember him being on there? She's singing about him. Yeah.
If you're looking for something to celebrate today's National Banana Split Day.
I like banana splits. Chocolate, maybe some crushed peanuts on top.
Yeah. But no tree nuts. Peanuts.
Yeah, peanuts. Yeah, because I can't do the tree nuts.
Yeah. Today is National Secondhand Wardrobe Day, so maybe go to the thrift store or something, or hit a yard sale.
Yeah, I told you, there's a friend of mine on Facebook, and she does like a little segment on her channel or her Facebook page where she goes to the thrift store and just like pulls something out and wears it. And it always looks good. Like maybe it's just her that makes it look good, but it's impressive. Well, I don't know. I mean, like maybe with somebody else, they wouldn't be able to pull it off, Brad. I mean, that's what I'm saying, but you can get some good stuff at the thrift store. And then who's the guy that sung a song about the thrift store? Macklemore. Yeah.
Yep. What?
Hey, when I was a kid, we were poor, and there were a lot of wardrobes came from the secondhand store, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And actually, you get some pretty good stuff in there.
Absolutely. Now, another thing you can celebrate today, and I bet you like these, Whiskey Sour Day. You like a whiskey sour?
I don't like whiskey sour. I like whiskey, but I don't like whiskey sour. I think of whiskey sours, and for some reason, I think of my buddy Ben in Atlanta, and he likes them, but I don't know if he really does or not. For some reason, his name just popped up in my head.
Well, okay, that's wild.
Voice of the Braves.
Oh, okay, all right. 1875, the first person successfully swam across the English Channel, swimming from Dover, England, to France in 22 hours.
Yeah, that's not something I'd want to do.
Nah, that's not. Nah. Wizard of Oz premiered this day in 1939.
One of the greatest movies of all time, and I know, Brett, you've talked about it on here. I know you're coughing about how you would smoke weed and you would, you'd get caught. You'd take a big puff and then choke like that, and then you would start The Dark Side of the Moon after the third line. And then you would watch it, and it coincided, like it went with it, and that's why he's off of there right now. But yeah, no, Wizard of Oz is still great. Like it's still one of those movies I can watch and I enjoy. It's scary. I know how it's going to end, but it doesn't always feel like that. The trees were scary to me. I didn't like the monkeys. The witches were scary. The story was great. And
have you ever watched it? Have you ever watched it doing recreational drugs?
Well, I know you have, and I'm sure it's great. I'll have to try that.
Well, are you putting words in my mouth? I never said that. Elton John made his U.S. debut at the Troubadour Club in Los Angeles this day, 1970. That was huge.
Yeah, and the movie, the Elton John, what's it called, Rocket Man or whatever? Yeah, they have like some scenes from that. Great movie. One of the best performers. I was at the Monday Night Brewing after one of the games, the baseball games I was broadcasting last time I was in Birmingham, and they started playing like Elton John in there, and I was like, man, I love Elton John. Like, hold me closer, tiny dancer. You start singing along, and then you're like, man, I'm singing along to Elton John, and I don't care. Give me another beer.
I was from a concert, man. It was incredible.
Give me another beer. Beer me.
Beer me. Keep the Elton coming. Keep the Elton coming and beer me. And finally, today we lost two really good Americans, and we will end on this note. Back in 2012, we lost Neil Armstrong, first person on the moon. And also in 2018, we lost an American war hero and a politician, a guy I thought highly of, John McCain. We lost him at the age of 81.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a debate now if we really did get to the moon, but he's known for the guy that got to the moon, and then, John McCain. But there's something else, Brett, I wanted to talk about, and I want to pull.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I want to send our condolences out to the Alabama high school football player that passed away Friday night. And I tell you, Mick, and you've been there before. You used to do Tuscaloosa County football. I've been around Walker and Jasper football my entire life.
If I can pull it up on Facebook.
Sure. And one of the things that's so special about Friday nights in Alabama and all over the country, really, is the purity of high school football. Everything is, it's just a pure game. And all the communities come out. They support their teams. You got the marching band. It's just a great feeling. And to have a tragedy like this happen, and it really shocked me to hear the news about this young man from Morgan Academy, Caden Tellier, I believe is his name. He was the quarterback there for
Morgan Academy. Yeah, Morgan Academy. I had some fraternity brothers that went to Morgan Academy. Zach and Adam White both went there. I'm sure there's some other buddies of mine that went there too, but this one breaks your heart, man. Guys playing football, gets some kind of weird injury and loses them, man. Pray for his family because it's going to be a tough go for them. But we're all supporting them, That's the one thing I can tell you about Alabama, about our community, and about the Alabama football community is that we're good people and we care. Our hearts and prayers are going that direction, positive vibes. I know how difficult this is going to be, but he died doing something that he loved doing. And that's how life is, man. You never know when you're going to be called back to heaven. When you're going to have to leave the earth. So you go out there and you do all the things you love doing. And, this one's tough, man. It's tragic, but you know what? His family's going to hopefully get a lot of love from all of us, and they'll be able to deal with this the best that they possibly can, because it's just going to be a rotten situation.
It is. That's a great way to end the show, and our thoughts and prayers with his family, and look forward to tomorrow's show. And roll Tide, Mick.
Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Thumbs up.